We got you.
We are live, Mr. Petrie.
Okay. Got about a minute. Be okay for me to go ahead and start?
Absolutely.
All right. Time is 5:59. We're going to start a minute early. I'd like to call to order the Springfield Local Schools Board of Education regular meeting. Roll call.
Mr. Ray?
Yes.
Ms. Terry?
Here.
Mr. Hofer?
Here.
Ms. Petrie?
Here.
Mrs. Frola?
Yes. Here.
Let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Before we head into executive session, I'd like to take the opportunity to welcome our new superintendent,
Well, thank you.
and best of luck to you. We
Thank
hope you're
you.
gonna find us easy to work with.
You guys are fabulous. Thank you.
All right, item 4, executive session. It is recommended that the board go into executive session at this time to discuss the appointment, employment, dismissal, discipline, promotion, demotion, or compensation of an employee, or the investigation of charges or complaints against an employee, official, licensee, or student, unless the employee, official, licensee, or student requests a public hearing, and matters required to be kept confidential by federal law or rules or state statutes.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Ray?
Yes.
Mr. Petrie?
Yes.
Mrs. Frola?
Yes.
Ms. Terry?
Yes.
Mr. Hofer?
Yes.
This should be rather short. We will be back.
Shortly.
Yes. Everybody set?
See if we're, okay, we're good to go. Yep, I'm good.
Item 5, approval of minutes. It is recommended that the board approve the minutes of the regular meeting of June 21st, 2022, Exhibit 1.
So moved.
Second. Mr. Hofer,
Yes.
Mrs. Frola,
Yes.
Mr. Petrie.
Yes.
Ms. Terry,
Yes.
Mr. Ray. Yes.
Motion passes. Item 6, citizens' comments on agenda items. Citizens' comment on agenda items are welcome at this time. Participants shall be limited to 5-minute durations. Seeing none. Item 7, payment of bills monthly. It is recommended that the board approve payment of bills for the month of June pending audit. Exhibit 2.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Mr. Petrie,
Yes.
Ms. Terry,
Yes.
Mrs. Frola,
Yes.
Mr. Hofer,
Yes.
Mr. Ray. Yes.
Motion passes. Item 8, acceptance of financial reports. It is recommended that the board accept the financial reports from the treasurer for June 2022, Exhibits 3, 4, and 5.
I'll make, go ahead.
So moved.
Second. Ms. Terry,
Yes.
Mr. Petrie,
Yes.
Mrs. Frola,
Yes.
Mr. Ray. Yes. Mr. Hofer.
Yes.
Motion passes. Item 9, personnel. It is recommended that the board accept and approve the following personnel items. Resignation, accept the resignation of substitute bus driver LaShante Turner, effective last day worked. 9.2, resignation, accept the resignation of teacher Kim Whitmire, effective 2022-23 school year. 9.3, resignation, accept the resignation of teaching assistant Rachel Christian, effective August 1st, 2022. 9.4, unpaid leave of absence, approve the unpaid leave of absence for classified employee Jennifer Hyde for the 2022-23 school year. Jennifer will be placed on classified substitute list for occasional subbing during the 22-23 school year. 9.5, athletic supplemental contracts. Approve the following athletic supplemental contracts for the 2022-23 school year per the negotiated agreement pending proper licensure. Pat Ternosky, 8th grade football head coach, 10%. Keith Fox, varsity soccer assistant girls, 11%. Jody Burgess, 7-12 athletic coordinator, 12%. Michelle Hanna, 7-12 athletic coordinator, 12%. 9.6, non-sport supplemental contracts. Approve the following non-sport supplemental contracts for the 2022-23 school year per the negotiated agreement pending proper licensure. Melinda Weekland, junior class advisor, 2%. Leona Cable, Baldinger, junior class advisor, 2%. Stacy Manzo, sophomore class advisor, 2%. Heather Phillips, sophomore class advisor, 2%. Matthew Graves, social studies department chair, 3%. 9.7, employment, reassigned classified employee Laura Pace as a 4-hour custodian at the Springfield Administration and Preschool Center per the negotiated agreement pending proper licensure effective July 20th, 2022.
So moved.
I'll second.
Just to point out one, 9.2, Kim Whitmer. She was on our RIF list, and she did get a job in another district, so happy for her that she got another job for that.
Nice. Who second? Who seconded the motion?
I did.
Okay. Ms. Terry,
Yes.
Mr. Ray. Yes. Mr. Petrie,
Yes,
Mrs. Frola,
Yes.
Mr. Hofer.
Yes.
motion carried. Item 10, employment of substitute teachers. It is recommended that the board approve a resolution to adopt modified education requirements for substitute teachers in accordance with House Bill 583 for the duration of the 2022-23 and 23-24 school years. Exhibit 6.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Just to let you know that the Ohio legislator again knows that there's a trouble with finding subs. So they created that you do not need a 4-year degree or a 2-year degree. It could be a high school diploma to get a substitute position. For that, we have our criteria here that we will follow along with the state. So hopefully what will happen is we will be able to bring some more people into sub for our district for that.
Ready? Mr. Hofer,
Yes.
Mrs. Frola,
Yes.
Ms. Terry,
Yes.
Ms. Petrie,
Yes.
Mr. Ray.
Yes.
Motion passes. Item 11, substitute teacher pay rate. It is recommended that the board approve increasing the daily substitute teacher rate from $80 to $95 per day for days 1 through 20. Once a substitute subs in the district for 20 days in a school year, the daily rate will increase to $105 a day, effective 2022-23 school year.
So moved.
Second.
So we're recommending that our sub pay, of course, be raised from 80 to 95. We're hoping that this will make us more competitive with other districts. We were the lowest paid in Summit County with $80. And the putting in the little caveat of working more than 20 days to moving up to 105, what we're hoping for is that we start to build our own subs, that we have people who are constantly coming back so our kids are used to them. And just another with the subs is, right now we go through a company called Red Hill, and Red Hill charges us a 14% on top of what we pay our subs. So what we are looking at is to go in with the Summit County ESC, which does not have that 14%, and then we would have more control over what subs come into our district, and we'll be able to control that a little bit more for that.
Question.
Sure.
The 20 days is, does it not have to be contiguous or anything like that?
No, it's
It's a
somebody that we
total.
want, yes.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
And that's a very good question. A lot of districts do say that you have to work consecutively in one. And you've got some people who work consecutively, like for 15 days, and then they go back down to the small price. But we wanted to build a capacity for us here in Springfield,
I-
Yeah, I
It's a
agree
good
with that.
idea.
so,
Getting rid of Red Hill's a good idea.
yes.
We didn't get a whole lot of return for what we invested in.
I would agree with you 1,000%. So we have so we'll be using Ren Hill probably for 60 days, 90 days. That's what the contract says, and then we will go to the ESC.
We'll drop in the 14% surcharge.
Yep.
We pay for the increase that we've just approved.
It's actually a $2 more increase
Yeah.
for it. But paying that, I would rather give that to our people than to give it to a company that says that they were going to give us all this, and they didn't give us
Right.
none of that, so. Yeah. And hopefully too, if we can build up our subs, our goal then is our teachers don't have to sub, which will give us a significant savings on that. So,
Ms. Terry,
Yes.
Mr. Ray,
Yes.
Mr. Hofer,
Yes.
Mrs. Frola,
Yes.
Mr. Petrie.
Yes. Motion passes. Item 12, resolution determining to proceed with submission of the question of levying an additional tax in excess of the 10 mil limitation. It is recommended that the board approve a resolution determining to proceed with the submission of the question of levying an additional tax in excess of the 10 mil limitation to the electors of the entire territory of the Springfield Local School District pursuant to section 5705.21 of the revised code, Exhibit 7.
I'll make a motion.
Second it.
Mrs. Frola,
Yes.
Mr. Petrie,
Yes,
Ms. Terry,
Yes.
Mr. Ray,
Yes.
Mr. Hofer.
Yes.
motion passes. Item 13, service agreement. Educational Service Center of Northeast Ohio. It is recommended that the board approve a service agreement with the Educational Service Center of Northeast Ohio to provide visual impairment services for the 2022-23 school year, Exhibit 8.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Christina, you want to tell them a little bit?
Sure, this is, the Educational Service Center that is in Cuyahoga County. They have a strong vision program that we can utilize their vision instructors and their, mobility instructors to help any of our students that might have be visually impaired. So they're the closest, and this is something that we've been doing for a long time.
Thank you.
Ready? Mrs. Frola,
Yes.
Ms. Terry,
Yes.
Mr. Ray,
Yes.
Mr. Hofer,
Yes.
Mr. Petrie.
Yes. Motion passes. Item 14, school lunch and breakfast prices. It is recommended that the board approve the following school lunch and breakfast prices effective the 2022-23 school year. K-6 lunch $3, breakfast $1.75, milk 50 cents. 7 to 12 lunch $3.50, breakfast $2.25, milk 50 cents. Adult lunch $4, breakfast $3.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Dustin?
Lunch prices were last adjusted in the summer of 2020. And this price increase will help us address the staffing costs, and most importantly, I think, the largest changes that we've seen has been the cost of food and supplies, as we've all unfortunately seen at the grocery store. That those items have increased in cost greatly. And as we've mentioned in the last couple board meetings, the federal program that provided free breakfast and lunch to all students will no longer exist this year. We will go back to the free and reduced paid model as we were pre-COVID. And this will help us to meet those price increases that our program will face.
And Dustin did research of many of the schools in Summit County, and we're in line with what many of the schools are doing.
Mr. Petrie,
Yes.
Ms. Terry,
Yes.
Mrs. Frola,
Yes.
Mr. Ray,
Yes.
Mr. Hofer.
Yes.
Item passes. Item 15, service agreement. Village of Lakemore Police Department. It is recommended that the board approve a service agreement with the Village of Lakemore Police Department to provide an attendance coordinator for the 2022-23 school year, Exhibit 9.
Oh, so moved.
I'll second.
Had an interesting discussion with Chief Simone Sunday on this, and
So, Dustin, you want to?
This is an agreement that we've had a police officer doing our attendance coordinator services for a number of years now. That has previously been with the Springfield Police Department, but coordination between the departments with the high school and a large number of cases coming out of the high school here, that this service will now be provided by the Village of Lakemore Police Department this coming school year. And Springfield has agreed to provide some startup support to them to get them up to speed on how the program has operated the last few years, so we can continue the guidelines that we've been doing the last few years.
the workload at Springfield has increased, and it'd be better to separate the two programs. Yeah, it was an interesting discussion. I support it.
Good, thank you.
Mr. Ray,
Yes.
Mr. Petrie,
Yes.
Ms. Terry,
Yes.
Mr. Hofer,
Yes.
Mrs. Frola.
Yes.
Motion passes. Item 16, Springfield High School and Junior High Student Handbook. It is recommended that the board approve the Springfield High School and Junior High Student Handbook for the 2022-23 school year.
So moved.
Second.
This is something that we do every year. We will be getting Spring Hills and Schrops in August for that. And it's just something to keep it updated on different things that are happening. Mrs. Warner and I sat down, she met with her counselors, and her staff to get it, the changes, and then her and I sat down and went through the changes for
Also,
that.
one that was really nice, one that students can decorate their parking spot.
Yes,
That was actually kind of interesting, I really kind of like that.
that's good.
The only thing I would suggest is instead of using black paint at the end of the year for them to cover up whatever they do, is use driveway sealer. It's
Okay.
very cheap and easy, and it covers, we kill two birds with one stone, and that protects wherever the cars are parked, if you can section that off.
Thank you.
The other one was, on the fire alarm pulls. I see that you only have an X in suspend and not an expel. Any place I've ever worked, that's a really, really serious charge, so.
And if you, and one of the caveats that we had in all the discipline was it's based on the incident also for
Okay,
that. You know, if you go for the expulsion, that's the heat, that's the worst, but if you've got the suspension, you can always
move up.
move up.
Okay,
So,
that's fine. I'm
yeah,
just
no,
asking.
that was a good question. That was a good question. I think I had the same one.
Mr. Ray?
Yes.
Ms. Terry?
Yes.
Ms. Petrie?
Yes.
Mrs. Frola?
Yes.
Mr. Hofer?
Yes.
Motion passes. Item 17, overnight extended trips. 17.1 band camp. It is recommended that the board approve an overnight extended trip for the Springfield Marching Band and chaperones to travel to Camp Muskingum in Carrollton, Ohio for band camp from July 31st through August 6th. All expenses will be paid through fundraising and by participants. Board members have received copies. 17.2 marching band. It is recommended that the board approve an overnight extended trip for the Springfield Marching Band and chaperones to travel to Walt Disney World in Orlando, Florida, to perform from March 26th through March 31st. This will occur over spring break, so no school days will be missed. All expenses will be paid through fundraising and by participants. Board members have received copies of trip proposal.
So moved.
I'll second.
Mr. Ray?
Yes.
Mr. Hofer?
Yes.
Mrs. Frola?
Yes.
Ms. Terry?
Yes.
Ms. Petrie?
Yes. Motion passes. Item 18, treasurer's report.
If you get out the spreadsheet I gave you, I didn't realize we were gonna have all these skits today. Anybody else would like one? Can I share one? This is our final year-end numbers, and as you've probably known, throughout the year, my goal is to make it with $1 more than we spent. I'm glad to announce that if you take this spreadsheet, I'm gonna go over the revenues and the expenditures for the year. I have them circled. The actual revenue came in at $24,903,000. The budget was $25,202,000, so we were short about $300,000. But on the expenditure side, which is on the last page, you will note that our total expenditures was $21,417,718. Our budget was $22,156,944. $700,000 savings. Last year, we ended the year in the hole, $2.6 million. This year, we almost hit $700,000. That's a good first step. It's the first time I've been able to get up here in a couple of years and say that we're trending in the right direction. You'll notice that we put the second resolution for the levy. This 3.9 levy could give us 5 years of financial health. And even more than that, but 5 years is what the state auditor tells me to say. It'll enable us to look at programs that we currently don't have. It'll enable us to bring back certain things as long as we hold the line on other things. but it'll really change the game, and our district needs to have a game changer. We need to get young parents to come back. That's the key. We're losing students. When I got here, we were 2,600, we're down to 1,800 students. That's not a trend we like to see. We have so much to offer here. The landscape is beautiful, the school's beautiful, so that's the goal. And this is a great first step. I talked to the guy from the Department of Education today, and he was very happy. He's rooting for us too. And we all take it personal, even the people down in Columbus, because they know what we're going through. They do this every day. So, anybody have any questions? Nope.
Thanks, Chris.
You're welcome.
Item 19, Superintendent's Report.
Just a couple of things. First, I have to say the first 19 days have been great. I'm getting to meet a lot of different people, both in the district and through the community. And I will give a synopsis to the board of all the information that I'm gathering from them. I'm learning a lot, so I'm excited about that. Second thing I'd like to bring up is something called Portrait of a Graduate. It's a process that I would like to bring to Springfield. It is what we want our students to leave us with, what soft skills or what competencies that we want to focus on as a district for when our students leave us and go out into the work world. The process includes not just school people, but it brings in parents, family members, business owners, religious entities, higher ed, anybody that we can get into a room. And this process allows Springfield to describe what is it that they want from our students when they leave us for that. I've been through this with several different districts, and it is a unbelievable experience for a district to have. I've been talking to several people about it and the excitement in it, and I think we're going to get quite a few volunteers who will give up 4 nights in September to be a part of this. It is through the Summit County ESC. We are going to be paying through a grant that is earmarked for this, if we don't, for professional development and things to better so it won't be any money coming out of our budget for this. And of course, we would ask the board members to be a part of this also. So on Monday, at our special board meeting, I will bring you the contract in for it to be approved. I didn't want to do that today. I wanted to give you a little bit of what it is. Many districts have done it, and it is something that really emphasizes what we want from our kids on this. So we're excited about that. And then a special note, the next section of the agenda has been changed from the business manager's report to the central office report. So every week we will be here, unless one of the lovelies here have a huge amount of information. But I think it's very important for you to hear what is going on in our district in each of the departments and all the.
Could you say?
No, I cannot. And all the great things that are happening, that we are achieving, even where we're at right now financially, going through writing grants, going through the Summit County ESC and getting things for free. They're working their tails off, and I think it's important that we share what's going on with that. And finally, starting to get some plans into place for the levy, for our levy campaign. This is very important. Our students need this. Our students deserve this. I think we're on the right track of getting there to get this levy passed. I know it's going to pass, and with the promise that we are going to be financially responsible with the money that you give to us on this. As Mr. Adams said, you know, the state says 5 years. We are going to try to prolong it for as long as we can. But bringing back the programs that our kids deserve for it. One thing that we never ever want to say is that if I would have moved 5 miles to the east or 5 miles to the west, my kids would have had these opportunities. We want to make sure that our kids have the opportunities right here in Springfield. And I'm going to tell you, the group of kids that I have met so far, we owe that to them. So we are going to work, our tails off into making sure that they get what they deserve for that. Any questions?
Preach it, sister.
Oh, I will preach it. So, all right. With that, we're gonna do the central office reports. So,
Item 20, central office report. How do you want to,
we're gonna start with Dustin, then we'll
Okay.
go with, Mary, and then Christina.
okay.
Right. Good evening. First of all, I'd like to thank all of our maintenance and custodial personnel that are working through the summer, getting the buildings ready for next school year. As I've taken tours around the building, they're doing an excellent job, working as they always do in the summer in the heat of the buildings, getting them ready. Floors are starting to get wax down on them through the hallways. The buildings are looking really good. So just want to give a shout out to all those folks and their great job this summer. Student registration is open in final forms that can be accessed at online at www.springfieldspartans.org/register. And for students that will be coming into kindergarten, Safety Town will be held August 9th through 11th, and the registration for that is in final forms as well with your kindergarten registration there. So if we've got incoming kindergartners, it's important to get them registered soon to make the deadline at the July 29th for Safety Town. Lunch applications, as we talked about the lunch program today and the free and reduced status, those programs returning this year. It's important that parents go online to www.lunchapplication.com. There they can fill out the free and reduced application to qualify them based on their income and other factors for free or reduced lunches for the upcoming school year. That will be also in final forms for parents as they fill out their forms for this year, and paper applications will be made available as well as needed to ensure that everybody can get those applications completed and returned. Thank you.
Thank you.
For my portion of the central office report, I would like to spotlight professional development that's going on this summer. It is a misnomer that teachers just have the summers off, and that is not necessarily true, because I have a lot of teachers doing a lot of things, and I would like to give you some information about what they're doing. I'd like to start that we have a team of 8 educators from Springfield High School and Junior High that arrived at the High Schools That Work National Conference today in Grapevine, Texas. All travel costs, registration, and housing fees are covered through federal grants and the High Schools That Work grant that they provide us yearly in order to do things like this. They are all allocated those funds are allocated only for professional development. So this will allow our team to learn and collaborate and network with schools nationwide regarding the struggles, strategies, and successes for their students. There are hundreds of sessions that these teachers and educators can attend that address topics such as the effects of poverty and trauma on student learning. And it also talks about how they can equally give equitable access to quality instruction for all students in all locations. The team will present this information to the staff of the high school, junior high on one of the first days of school for possible implementations at the building level to foster student success. In addition to that, we have administrators and teachers that have participated in 2 6-hour nationwide presentations for the implementation of a reading program called Wit and Wisdom. Wit and Wisdom, we also have 2 teachers who will be participating in it at a later date. They were not able to make the first date. Wit and Wisdom is a research-based reading program that will be piloted in the district for grades K through 3 in this upcoming school year. The program, which scores in the green or meets expectations in the What Works National Clearinghouse, aligns with the science of reading presentation. You heard a little bit about that over at Spring Hill when Mrs. Scrimo and Mrs. Bluey presented on the science of reading. I lost my spot. This program aligns with Heggerty, which we already have in place at the elementaries. It aligns with foundations that we have in place, and it aligns with the decodable readers called geodes that we have in place. at our elementary schools at this point in time. That's one of the things that the teachers really wanted to focus on, were things that worked together and not a piece from here and a piece from here and a piece from here in order to put a functional reading program together. In addition, and I didn't have this originally on my information, but I want to also spotlight, we have 14 teachers who are going through the LETRS training, LETRS, which is the Literacy Essentials for Teachers of Reading and Spelling. This aligns with the dyslexia guidelines that are coming through with the state of Ohio, by the way. So does Wit and Wisdom Foundations in Hegarty, so we have those in place. But we have 10 teachers who are going through units 1 through 4, and then we have 5 teachers who are going through 5 through 8 and finishing that up. This is a year-long program. Many of them started at the beginning of the summer and are finishing already. So they are working their tails off to make sure that they are prepared to service the students in our classroom. And I would be glad to answer any questions you have. A lot of information all at once. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Okay, so last month, we had our extended school year program. Over the last couple meetings, you guys have approved teachers and teaching assistants and different services for those kids. So our extended school year program is offered to any of our students that might have special education needs, that we feel that if they didn't continue their education, they would not make progress into the next school year, or they would lose too much progress. So some students are invited for the half-day program, and some students are invited just for therapies. We had a total of 50 students participate in some way in our extended school year program, all the way from preschool to their, senior year. And I had the pleasure of going every day except for the last 6 was when I was out of town, but it was so much fun just to see everybody learning and just a little bit different environment than the typical school year, because everything was a little bit more play-based. It was more geared towards some play and some activities instead of some of our more rigorous curriculum that we use during the school year. So the kids had a great time. I think the teachers also and the teaching assistants had a great time, and there was a lot of fun for the kids while they were still learning and working towards their goals on their IEPs. So that's it.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Item 21, items worthy of your note. August 8th, school building offices reopen. August 9th through 11th, Safety Town, 8 a.m. to 12 noon at Springfield High School and Junior High. August 22nd, staff first day convocation. August 23rd, staff in service. August 24th, students first day excluding kindergarten. And August 30th, kindergarten first day. Item 22, citizens' comments. Participants shall be limited to 5-minute durations. Is there anybody?
Yes.
If you would go to the podium, please, identify yourself and your address.
So my name's Dustin Halterman. I live at 2102 Lake Road, and I'm a member of the football directors for the youth football and cheerleading program. I know most of you have been in the district for a very long time, and the scoreboard at Schropp has probably been there just as long. Unfortunately, it no longer works. All right, it's something that we need to replace. It broke on us last year, and we did everything we could to try and keep time and keep distance and downs and everything that you need to keep track of, and it's just not working. So before we go into this new football season, we need to get a new scoreboard. Now, I've been working with Marco's Pizza, which is just over here, and they're willing to fund a new scoreboard. But we need support from the school district as well. It's school property. Obviously, I can't just go put a scoreboard on it. So we need to get approval for it. But more importantly, Marco's would like to split it over the next 2 years. So they'd like to write us a check on September 1st for part of it, and on September 1st of next year for part of it, and on September 1st of the third year for the rest. All right. So this will be completely funded through Marco's and through the youth football organization, but we need the school district to help us out and give us a short bridge loan so we can get this ordered, because right now scoreboards are on a 5-week lead time. So that's putting us getting it and starting games at pretty much the same time. All right. We're looking at a total cost of right about $8,000 for a new scoreboard and installation. So that's what I'm here to ask help for.
So Marcos would give us a third.
Like $3,000 this year, $3,000 next year, and the balance on the third year.
Okay.
So it'd be 332, is that how I understand
It-
it?
Yeah.
Wherever we finish out with the total install and things, I can't get a total price on install because they won't know until they're actually doing it. But I have the scoreboard, I actually have it pulled up here if you'd like to see it. Unfortunately, I didn't get it printed off. But it's gonna cost us $4,800 just for the scoreboard. The installation, I did have a conversation with Elliott Sign Company right out there. They told us the last one they did was about $4,000. This is a smaller scoreboard, so it shouldn't cost as much, but they won't know until they're actually doing it. So I think we're gonna be right in the $8,000 range.
Marco's gonna wanna put their sign,
They're,
obviously.
they're going to wanna brand it, but they'll pay for the branding on their own. That's not
Okay.
something that's included in our scoreboard cost.
And how long do they wanna brand it? Forever?
Honestly, we have Coke branding on that scoreboard that's been there, I was there 30 years ago and it was there. So, I mean, if it's on there until it fades, I
You know,
don't,
if they're gonna pay for it.
yeah.
You know what, that's perfect, if you could just send me to my email, the copy of that, and we
Okay.
will get it on the agenda for Monday,
Okay, that would be great.
okay, so, yeah,
Because
you
as
know,
soon, like I said, with a 5-week lead time, we're looking
well,
at
absolutely.
getting it the same time we start. so.
Absolutely, and one of our goals too is to start bridging our youth groups with our sports up here and making it a conducive
That,
timeline, so anything we can do to help, absolutely.
that would be great.
Okay,
All right,
perfect.
thank you.
Thank you. That's awesome.
That's great. That's great.
Thanks for
Everybody
doing the
well, leave
legwork
Marcos
on
be
that.
safe.
Yes. We know a lot of Marcos, yeah.
All right, are there any other people that would like to speak? Seeing none, we'll go to board members informal. I would just start by saying the addition of the entire central office staff to the agenda was refreshing.
Thank you.
I think it was a good idea on
Thank you.
Sherry's part to do that, so we're happy to have you here and hear what you're doing.
Yep, thank you.
Dave?
No, I'm gonna,
Okay.
next month,
Ken?
I'll start it.
I just wanted to thank Rick Poling. I know he left the truancy job. That he was so dedicated and worked so hard on that and got it up and running. So I just want to thank Rick Poling. We're gonna miss him. That's
I
all I
always
have.
have something to say. So enjoy the rest of the summer. I am going to call out our teachers to show up and help us get this levy passed. We can't do it without more help from the people that work in the building. I know I'll make some people mad, that's what I do, but we need people out there that are in the buildings to help us get this passed and to say why we need it. So hopefully we can get more help from not only our teachers, but more parents and get it passed. So enjoy summer.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item 24, adjournment. It is recommended that the board meeting be adjourned at this time.
So moved.
Let me get the time.
Second.
Okay. Mr. Hofer, Mr. Ray. Ms. Petrie,
Yes?
Mrs. Frola,
Yes.
Mr. Hofer,
Yes.
Mr. Ray,
Yes.
Ms. Terry.
Yes.
Thank you. We are adjourned. Thanks for coming, everybody.
Larry, when do you want to make this?